one of the nice things about living in a small town is you go to the post office, and the postmaster will diagnose your illnesses for you. I've been, I don't know, sometime last night when I took my socks off, I just had a lot of pain in my foot, and our postmaster said, well, is it right by your big toe? I was like, yeah. He's like, so you got gout. So that, so if anybody has any natural remedies for gout, he said I should go to the emergency room. I don't have time for that. It's almost Shabbos. And tomorrow night's Svengoolie. I'm not going to miss Svengoolie. So maybe Sunday I'll get it taken care of. I don't know. Anyway, maybe after Svengoolie. But that's like already 10 o'clock at night. I'm asleep by then. I'm lucky if I stay up for all of Svengoolie, but it's going to be Ghost of Frankenstein with Lon Chaney Jr. I mean, all the Universal Frankensteins are great, and that's not even the best one of them. Obviously, everyone knows the best Universal Frankenstein is Bride of Frankenstein. Everybody knows that. That just goes without saying. But Ghost of Frankenstein, nice, fun movie. Bela Lugosi as Igor. Oh wow, that's probably his best role, because you can see his range. He's not just Dracula, the way he plays Igor in Ghost of Frankenstein, and in Son of Frankenstein for that matter. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, wanted to talk about my discomfort with a statement that Dennis Prager made today on the radio. Again, see my previous video if you want to hear a little bit about what I have to say about this. But I can understand someone who is reformed saying no sacrifices, because they're reformed. That's the whole reform ideology. I'm not okay with that. I understand it's heretical, but it's consistent, and they're not always so consistent. I've seen certain levels of what I would call intellectual dishonesty in the reform movement. I can think right off the top of my head. That's not what I'm talking about now. So Jack Spiro is one particular a case I remember with him. He should be well. Jack Spiro, I have nothing against him. He's a very talented speaker, and a big professor. I just think he's wrong. And certain one thing I thought he was intellectually dishonest. I can understand when you have a consistent, and I'm not always intellectually honest, I guess, so I can't. And I appreciate Dennis Prager's candor, that he speaks his mind, and he's, I mean, for example, they were asking him about the story of Shifra and Pua in the beginning of Parsha Shmos, and he said it's his opinion that Shifra and Pua were Egyptian. They were not Hebrews. Medrash tells us that it was Miriam and Yocheved. I can understand. Not all the Orthodox accept every Midrash to be literal. He could have mentioned something that there is a traditional Jewish legend that these were actually Hebrew women. And also he said that something about throwing them in the river, which was not until after that, meaning this was Paro's first idea. But the thing was, someone was asking about, he didn't really answer the question about God or gods or this or that. He just was talking about it. And that's something I can learn, is that you could just talk about something without answering any questions, and it's fine, and people are happy with that. You don't have to have the answer to everything. Today I was just talking, and one of the institutionalized persons that I work with said, "Oh, you just answered my question, and I appreciate that." So there you go. So anyway, I heard something, apple cider vinegar is good for gout. Did anybody ever hear about that? I think I have apple cider vinegar at home. So anyway, the story of Dennis Prager here. He said that from a moral standpoint, he has no issue with the restoration of animal sacrifice, but from a religious standpoint, he does, mostly because he feels that it's not something that will give people sipik, as to have the sacrifices. I mean, to me, this. I'm not saying that this is intellectually dishonest. This is just showing. I'm saying this more or less to demonstrate to a Haredi person who was enamored with Zionism, which I think we all are to a certain extent. I think even the bigger Notori Karta you are, it's only because there is some preoccupation and enamorance of Zionism, and that's why I've gotten to a certain point where I don't really think about Zionism that much, except when I'm on Twitter with talking with the tweets on Twitter, the twits, and I don't walk around thinking about Zionism unless somebody else brings it up, I don't walk around thinking, oh, what can we do to undermine the Zionists? I don't care to undermine the Zionists. I just care to make it clear that not all Jews are Zionists, and they have no right to speak on behalf of all Jews. That's the only thing I can really talk about here. But this being said, why do we? Even Karen Armstrong wrote that, the anti-Zionists, Haredim, speak of Zionism as a temptation, and as a very big temptation. And it's obvious why she said, obviously, there's something that grabs every Jewish heart about the Holy Land. And, essentially, the religious anti-Zionists are, I think the Satmar said this, are the true Zionists, because they're seeking the restoration of Zion, of the temple. That's what we care about. But we just believe that we need God to do it, and we can't do it with our own hands. With that being said, I don't see, for example, a need. I gotta go to Eretz Yisrael right now. That's not. What does that have to do with me? I've been to Eretz Yisrael. I was Mekayim the mitzvah. I walked Dalad Amos like Rabbi Nachman did. It's Git Genig, and even if you can't do that, it's Och Git Genig. You're not mechuyev to go do such a thing. Moshe says like that. It's a mitzvah kiyumis and not a mitzvah chiyuvis. How many people who chalish for Eretz Yisrael wear tzitzis? I don't mean just the talis when they're davening. I'm saying every day that they wear a talis cotton all day long. Having them sleep with a talis cotton on, even though there's no chiyuv. Certainly not to sleep with a talis cotton on, but an er l'chi titzich azoi. A lot of, not everybody, but that's a way a lot of things are. What's this all about? But the thing is that we have to understand, what is Eretz Yisrael for? Eretz Yisrael is for mitzvahs t'liyas ba'aretz, and it's for the Beis HaMikdash. And if you're not chalishing for the Beis HaMikdash and the korbanos, what's Eretz Yisrael for? What do you need it for? I don't understand. That's what they're playing Yiddish music here. That's what we gotta be chalishing for is the Beis HaMikdash, So that's the story we're talking about here. And if you're not chalshing for the Beis Hamikdash, why are you talking about? Why should Eretz Yisrael even cross your mind? What do you need it for? What do you need Eretz Yisrael for without the mitzvahs of Tliyas Baaretz, without the Beis Hamikdash? Just so we should be a country like all other countries. We should have a land and a flag and this and eat falafel. That's what all we need. I'm listening to Rabbi Weinberger. He was talking about, people who, they think, if you, they haven't been to Eretz Yisrael in years, but they're like, if you don't say Hallel on Hayir, you're a kofer, I mean, it's I don't know. And what's really on their minds? What's really, that's it. I can, and I'm not saying, and I understand. I'm just showing. This is showing. If you're a Haredish person, you're like, oh, the Zionists aren't really that bad, You have such a verbrented Zioni like Dennis Prager's. All Gesundsein. I have nothing against. I understand, and his Zionism has some chokhmah to it, even if I disagree with it. But so Dennis Prager is a groised Zioni, and he doesn't care if korbanos, not korbanos. Who cares? It's not important. There's something wrong with that from our standpoint, from an Erlich Yiddish standpoint. If you're not chalshing for the korbanos, what are you chalshing for? And it's a problem. And the thing is, the problem is, I would say, the vast majority of the Haredish and who are anti-Zionist chalish for the korbanos more than the big Zionim. Except for the real frumma religious Zionists, but the average modern Orthodox guy who says Hallel and Hayir also probably feels just the same like Dennis Prager, Leich Bislei. All right, Ya korbanos, nish korbanos, who cares? How many people say korbanos every day? I understand, all right, most of the Ashkenazim not saying korbanos by mincha, but by shachars it's in the siddur. Where's korbanos? Why are you saying korbanos? Because leich b'slei, that's why. Let's get out of here already. We gotta get to work already. I mean, so when you get to work and you have a few minutes, and instead of schmoozing with your friend, can you take out a siddur and say the korbanos that you missed before? Even though, I know Al Pikabal, you're supposed to say it in order, and it's a tikkun or the Messiah and so forth. But no, all right, you didn't say the korbanos, and you want to. Do you stop on the way? At least before you go and schmooze with your friends at work, and talk and say the korbanos. How long does it take already? You know how to daven, you know Hebrew. It could take 5 minutes. I know the Vishnitzer Rebbe in Kaimish Lake. It takes him 2 hours to say korbanos. He's chalshing for the korbanos. Halavai, we should feel what he feels when it comes to saying the korbanos. And I'm not a big chassid of his. He's a scary guy. I don't, I go to Tish once in a while just because it's local. It's the closest Chassidish Rebbe to where I live. So Hanukkah, we go to the Vishnitzer Rebbe. Why not? But I was once there before he was Rebbe, when he was still Ruv. I was there once, and it took him mamish like an hour to say korbanos. And I was there with a Choshev Rav, a Talmid Chacham. He was getting a little annoyed, But the thing is all right, this is what he has time for. And he's a big Talmid Chacham. He sits and learns. He knows how to learn very well. He could paskin shilas very well, the Vishnitzer Rebbe in Gibbers. Big Talmid Chacham. This is halavai. We should be chalishing. We should say korbanos like that. I know we don't have time for that, and I'll tell you the truth. I'd rather be learning a Black Gemara. I'd like to say korbanos for 5 minutes, but am I going to say? Usually it doesn't take 5 minutes for me to say korbanos. Usually I say it very quickly, Halavai, I should feel that, and I admit that I don't feel zicher, not with the visions or Rebbe feels. You know, think about that. What do we need Eretz Yisrael for if it's not for the Beis Hamikdash? And I'm not saying we should build a Beis Hamikdash now. I'm saying we should wait because Pekuach Nefesh is doicha that, and it's Pekuach Nefesh, and we don't have the Paradum and all the things. Think about these things. It's not Pashut. It's mamish not Pashut. All right. God bless you. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, all this.